This is a 1995 Ford F250 pickup, which is the 9th generation model of the F-Series, sold from the 1992 to 1997 model year. It's also the last generation that the F250 was sold alongside the F150 under the same F-Series designation. Going forward into the following generation, the F250 split off into the F-Series heavy-duty model with its own distinct exterior styling. Now, I'm a huge fan of the style that you get in this 9th generation model of the F250. Definitely a lot more old school, kind of classic look to it than what you get going forward after 1999, but still really great looking nonetheless. You'll see that with this generation, when compared with the 8th generation model, they lowered the hood line, they also curved the front fenders and the grille, and overall the design is a lot more contemporary and modern than what we saw in some of the more boxy prior generations of the F250. Looking at the front end of the truck, I really like the grille and headlight layout that you get with this 9th generation model. It's also the last generation that we see of the F250 with the flat hood. Going forward, they had the drop-down fenders at the headlights on the driver and the passenger side. So a really nice clean look here. You will see that this vehicle has been modified slightly. It's got the white paint in here. From the factory, this would have all been chrome. You also see it's got a chrome bumper, something that's really gone away in modern trucks. Typically people want body colored now, but you can definitely appreciate the chrome on this truck because it's a little bit of a classic. On the side, again, a very good looking truck, much more boxy than what we see in more modern pickups. And then you'll see that with this specific vehicle, it's also got the two-tone color configuration and the pinstripes, which really gives it that classic look. Also got some nice touches of chrome along the bottom of the doors here. Now, the F250 for this generation was available with a number of different trim packages. They had your base model work truck, they had the XL model. This truck is the mid-level XLT package, and then the top of the line trim package was the Eddie Bauer model. And then you could also get the truck with the off-road package, which we have on this vehicle. I also want to point out a few other aftermarket features of this truck. You'll see that it's got a revised wheel package and tire package. Really gives the truck a nice look, and then we've got these side steps as well. You will see that this truck's got the tow mirrors on there, bringing that mirror out away from the vehicle to help increase that visibility. And then you'll also notice that we've got two fuel tanks. So a unique feature of this era of Ford vehicles, the dual tanks, you can flip a switch inside of the cabin to switch from one tank to the other. You also see that this vehicle has got the long bed. The F250 for this generation was available in either a regular cab, super cab, which we've got right here, and then a crew cab configuration. And then on the crew cab model, you could get either a short bed or this long bed. Coming around to the back, again, we've got that chrome bumper. And then another cool thing is that it's got the brushed aluminum along the back here. Something that gives it a little bit of flair. And it's also cool because this is true brushed aluminum. If you look at a lot of modern vehicles, they've got kind of faux brushed aluminum. Because of the era of this truck, they weren't doing any of that fake stuff, so that's kind of cool. You'll see the off-road stickering here with the 4x4, designating that off-road package that we've got. And then it's also got an aftermarket exhaust. But overall, you can see a really great looking truck. I love the classic look that you get with this generation of the F250. And as much as I think that all F250s going forward have a really great look as well, there's something really special about this generation of the F250. Although this is the mid-level XLT trim package, you'll see it's a pretty basic overall interior, really a sign of the times as truck interiors have improved a lot in recent years. Despite that, it's still a nice improvement over the prior generation of the F250, and it's got a pretty clean overall layout. As far as options, we've got power windows and power door locks. Some nice storage cubbies built into the door here. And then our driver's seat has power lumbar support. To the left of the steering column, we've got a knob here for controlling the headlights, and then a fuel switch button to switch between the front and rear tanks. Steering wheel is leather wrapped, or at least used to be. You'll see it's showing its age a little bit. And then we've got buttons for controlling the cruise control on that as well. Pretty simple instrument cluster. And then we have a few other gauges up here on the A-pillar. We do have an overdrive feature in the gear shifter. And then you'll see that we've got an aftermarket stereo and our climate control, which includes heat and air conditioning. Got a little storage compartment here, 12-volt outlet to the right of that, and then ashtray and cigarette lighter. You also see we've got our shifter on the floor for the 4-wheel drive system. We do have a 2 high, 4 low, and 4 high option. And then our center seat does fold down into a center console with some storage space and 2 cup holders. To access the rear seat, we'll pull on this lever here and the driver's seat folds forward. You can also do that on the passenger side to access this rear seat, where you'll see it's a little bit tight in terms of legroom, but it does increase overall seating capacity to 6. And then we've got cup holders built into both the driver and passenger side here, as well as a little cubby space. The 9th generation of the F250 was available in rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, and you had your choice of 4 different engine options. The base engine was a 4.9 liter 6-cylinder. They also offered 2 different V8 gas engine options, and this truck's got the 7.3 liter 8-cylinder turbodiesel. This engine's got 210 horsepower, and all of those engine options are paired to either a 4-speed automatic or 5-speed manual transmission. The EPA ratings on the 6 and 8 cylinders fall in the 11 to 12 mile per gallon range in the city and 16 to 17 mile per gallon range on the highway. The EPA doesn't publish numbers for the diesel engine, but it sees a nice improvement in terms of the overall fuel economy. You'll probably be sitting somewhere in the 16 to 17 mile per gallon range with this engine. All right, without a doubt, one of my favorite things about this 9th generation model of the F250 is the sound of that diesel engine. It's one of the reasons why if you get one of these, you gotta go with the diesel. It's just got such a great sound to it. Diesels have definitely come a long way in more recent generations of pickups, but there's something just great about the sound of this one. The F250 has really come a long way in more modern years. You'll see that the steering play is absolutely ridiculous in this truck. I mean, I'm going in a straight line right now and you're turning it out like a quarter turn and getting no response out of it. Pretty crazy. Likewise, an insane amount of turbo lag. You have to really punch on the throttle to get any response at all, and then it takes a while for that turbo to activate. Obviously the interior is very primitive compared to the more modern pickups that we see today, but there's still something really cool about the classic nature that you get with this truck. And we do have to keep in mind it's 25 years old. That's a quarter of a century, and it's still running and still a pretty solid overall truck. Now, one of the really great things about these diesel engines is that they are super reliable as well. This truck's got almost 300,000 miles on it, and it runs excellent. That's one of the things I would highly recommend if you get into an F250 from this era. Go with the diesel engine. The other great thing about these diesels is that they don't have all the emissions technology that you've got in more modern trucks, which is bad for the environment, but it's good for reliability. These trucks are bulletproof in that sense. All right, so we'll pull onto the highway here and do a quick acceleration test. Oh, love the sound of that turbo. And you know, although there is quite a bit of turbo lag, once that engages, it's actually quite quick. Given that this truck is really intended to haul heavy loads, pull big trailers, the fact that it's still pretty quick pulling onto the highway is very impressive. And again, for a 25-year-old truck to be able to do all of that, very impressed. So that's the 9th generation model of the Ford F250. I am a huge fan of this generation of the truck. I love the styling on it. It has got such a cool classic look to it, much more square than the more modern versions of the F250. They've certainly advanced this truck a lot over the years in terms of performance, ride quality, comfort, a lot of things that have really improved on the F250, but I think there's always going to be something really special about this specific generation. If you have any comments or questions on the F250, leave them in the section below. For more car reviews, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.